Hey there everyone, it's Anthony back with another video here on AJK Beauty. Hi. Hope you're having a fantastic day, weekday, whatever you have going on. Thank you so much for checking out this video. So today we're going to be doing a combination of my empties for October-ish, as well as doing a full brand review because a lot of them are now part of my empties or I'm finished with pile. So it's going to be a combo of empties, and then we'll move into a full brand review for a particular brand. It's Urban Calm from the brand Facetory. It's kind of one of their sublines. So yeah, we're gonna just jump right into it. The first empty that I have, let's just kind of go in order. So I'm going to do all the non-Urban Calm stuff first. So let's go in order of how I would use this stuff. Okay, so first up is a product that I was really curious and a little skeptical about because the ingredient that they utilize, at least here in the US, is now prescription only. So I was like, how are they getting away with still carrying it? But I did get it through, I believe it was Yes Style, so maybe it's still allowed in certain areas of the world. But this is from Cos de Baja, and it's their hydroquinone brightening serum. I've been using this, I used it for 2 months daily, and then I switched to taking a month off, and then I started using it for about another week before I was like, okay, I'm ready to put together my thoughts. So almost 3 months of use, and this is a product that I just use on my cheeks, kind of down on my chin, and then on my jawline. You can see I've got a pretty nasty little pimple that popped up and a ton of hyperpigmentation built up around it, unfortunately. Pretty irritated. And so hydroquinone is now a prescription ingredient only here in the US, and it's used to help tamp down I think it's like the melanin producers within the skin to reduce hyperpigmentation and dark spots. A lot of people with darker skin tones like mine rely on it for minimizing hyperpigmentation and dark spots. So Cos de Baja still carries this over the counter. They claim it has 2% hydroquinone. It's also got 4% arbutin, 4% niacinamide. It's got some salicylic acid, kojic acid, and lactic acid. Pretty much all of those ingredients are really great for brightening the skin and reducing hyperpigmentation. This is probably the most, at least on paper, the most concentrated brightening product that I've seen. And what's funny is even with that, I didn't find it to be really effective at all. It's kind of a jelly-like consistency. You really only need a little bit. It spreads nicely. So it's got a little bit of some weight to it, but it spreads really nicely. It seems to absorb okay, not completely nicely. It takes a little bit for it to fully absorb. So I'll usually put this on, let it sit for a few minutes, and then move on to the rest of my routine. It has a slight tack, but nothing too crazy, and no real scent whatsoever. But for whatever reason, this features aloe. It's also got, like I said, the kojic acid, lactic acid, hydroquinone in it. It has some flower extracts in it as well, some preservatives here. Nothing too crazy, but it just didn't really impact my skin like hydroquinone had in the past. I've used a hydroquinone serum from Differin before they pulled it from the shelves, and that really quickly helped to tamp down hyperpigmentation, really even out my skin tone, and then you cycle on and off of it for safety reasons. That particular product had this intense kind of chemically plasticky scent that I've only ever smelled from hydroquinone, and this didn't have it. So I'm curious as to see where they're sourcing their hydroquinone, if it really is at 2%, but I found this to be slightly hydrating, maybe a little brightening with some of the other acids and niacinamide, but not nearly as impactful as a hydroquinone serum that I've used in the past. So I'm going to discontinue use of this because there are some risks involved with hydroquinone, and I'm like, why am I taking the chances with those risks if I'm not seeing any results? So I think I might book an appointment with a dermatologist to have them take a look at some of my hyperpigmentation issues and see if prescribing actual hydroquinone, I don't know if this is actual or not, but prescription level hydroquinone is right for me. So I'm going to discontinue use, throw away the rest of it. It came in a 2-pack. I already threw away the other bottle because this is also an ingredient that I don't really want to push on friends to make, I'm not sure if they would use it properly, or maybe they don't need it. It's a touchy ingredient, and so I'm just going to get rid of it. So there's that. Next up, we have my vitamin C serum that I finished up recently. This is the CosRx, the vitamin C 23 Super Vitamin E plus Hyaluronic Acid Serum. So this is a 23% ascorbic acid serum, and I finished off the bottle in just over a month. So there it is. You get 0.7 ounces in this. It's a big bottle, even though it only has less than an ounce. I'm wondering if there's some sort of like internal like package within it, but it seems like it's a bigger than an ounce bottle, but it has less than an ounce in it. Maybe they leave a lot of space in there. But 23% ascorbic acid, you have squalane, caffeine in here. This is a dimethicone-based product along with water, so it has a little bit more of a thickness to it. It's got some palm oil, sunflower seed oil, licorice root extract, sunflower seed oil, green tea, carrot root extracts. It's got some beta carotene in it as well. And I really liked this because it does... it is a little bit more oil-based, and so it's not as super watery, but I still find it absorbs pretty nicely, and it leaves this kind of softening effect to the skin. So I could see those with incredibly oily skin not liking that mild oil base, but for me, with my kind of combo skin, I didn't mind it, and I felt that it was a little bit more elegant than some other vitamin C serums I've used. It didn't crystallize in the jar. It does have a natural kind of yellow tinge. It's not that orange, like expired looking ascorbic acid, but it's not that clear, like super fresh, watery ascorbic acid. So it's like somewhere it has a natural color, I think, with the beta carotene and stuff too, but I didn't find that it churned really quickly. It didn't have like a super off-putting smell over time. It has, it has right out of the package that kind of metallic-y vitamin C scent, but I like it. I really like it. I liked the fact that it just seemed to absorb a little bit more nicely, and I liked the texture of it as compared to some other vitamin C serums that I've used. So, and I did see some brightening benefits from it, some lightening, some help with hyperpigmentation, probably even more than that hydroquinone serum. And so I'm always looking for a nice solid vitamin C serum that I can rely on at a higher concentration, and I like the format of this one. So I've already bought a replacement. I'm already using the replacement, so this might be potentially my new, at least for a while, permanent vitamin C. I don't have any others in my stash, so I'm going to keep using the CosRx until something else piques my interest. So, and it comes with the little dropper as well. So there is that from CosRx. I'm just gonna set that here. Next up, we have a toner, I guess, it's a facial mist, but I usually try to put them in either a toner or essence stuff. This really isn't either one. This is from La Roche-Posay, and it's their thermal spring water spray. And so I reviewed this a couple of years ago in the summer, and I wrote a positive review of it. I really liked how refreshing the mist is, especially when I'm hiking or camping. It's just a nice, cool hit of hydration and just the, that thermal water. But outside of that effect, the cooling effect, the kind of refreshing feeling, there isn't really a lot of benefits that I saw just from the thermal water. Now I know it does have some minerality to it and some things within the mineral water that are supposed to help with skin barrier and soothing. I didn't really see a lot of like barrier support benefit or a ton of soothing on days where my skin was irritated, aside from just the cooling effect. So this just felt like spraying water on my face. I probably wouldn't come back to it. I do have another thermal water that I will be testing that's in my stash, but I like it for the effect, the cooling effect, but I'm not looking at it for any long-term benefits. So I would prefer to go for a mist that does have some niacinamide or some green tea or some chamomile extract, something that might be soothing or brightening, something else to kind of dress it up a little bit. This was just a can of water and it was fine, but I don't think I'll be coming back to it. Okay, moving on, we have a product that I'm just going to briefly mention because it's no longer for sale. This is from Even Prime. The brand is no longer in existence, but when they were announcing that they were going to be shutting their website down, I stocked up on a lot of stuff and the expiration dates are coming up. So I'm trying to get through as much of my Even Prime products that I had on hold as possible. And this is their barrier serum. So this is a serum that's packed with a bunch of awesome stuff to help with barrier support. You've got several different forms of hyaluronic acid. You've got ceramides in here, several different forms of madecassic acid, a bunch of different peptides in here. It really is just like a universally awesome serum, not only for hydration, calming, and soothing, but also that barrier support with the ceramides. And if I have any more, oh, barely any. It's just a nice lightweight gel serum. I apply a pretty heavy amount and then do a little facial massage with it. But it works really well. It's a fantastic barrier support product, and I like that it's more of a gel than a cream. A lot of times those barrier support serums can be kind of creamy, maybe a little bit heavy. This one's nice and light and layerable, but you can't get it anymore, so I don't want to talk too much about it. I have one more that I'm going to start diving into, and I have their cleanser as well. But yeah, love this stuff. I wish they would have stuck around. I loved Even Prime. Next up, we have from Etude or Etude House, their Sunjung 10 Panthenticide Cica Balm. This is a thick balm that focuses on Centella asiatica and panthenol. Very heavy consistency. It still applies pretty nicely and absorbs nicely. There was just a little bit left in there, but it definitely is a balm, and it's focused on sensitive skin, rebuilding the skin barrier, and to be very soothing. So a soothing, repairing balm. I over-exfoliated trialing a product that did not work out for me. It completely stripped my skin. It was from the Dr. Dennis Gross. It's their exfoliating pads, and they're heavy in alcohol. They're almost like a fancy Stridex pad, essentially, and it says that you can use it daily. So I started with a couple days a week, and then I moved into daily. And about 4 days into my daily use, my skin just melted. It was way too drying, way too aggressive, way too irritating. So my skin had this panic mode. Then I got this thing on my neck, and I was like, I need to find like a reparative, no nonsense, no fragrance balm to use in the PM just to seal my skin. And this is what I grabbed, and it worked beautifully. It has totally helped to support my skin, bring it back to a good state. And so I fell in love with it. It is heavy, so keep that in mind if you have particularly oily skin. You might not like this one. I use it only in the PM because it has that weight to it. I tried using it in the AM, but it was just a little too much for me, especially with sunscreen on top of that. So I use this at night just to kind of seal my skin with some hydration, have some reparative, soothing ingredients, and I wake up and my skin always looks really soft, hydrated, a little bit more in a healthier state. It helps to reduce redness too. It's a fantastic balm. It came in a 2-pack. This was the gift size, which was 30 milliliters, and then the full size is 50. So I just started in on the full size. I'm gonna keep using this product. I haven't quite used it for a month. I've been using it for about 3 weeks. So I'm gonna keep using the full size since I emptied this one until that one's probably gone, and then I'll switch to a different evening moisturizer and write my review. But very happy with this so far. I would slather this stuff on because my skin was just really freaking out. So super happy with that. The final product that's not part of the brand review is from Isntree. It's a sunscreen. It's their Purple Protector Onion New Pair Sunscreen SPF 40 plus, or SPF 40 PA 4 pluses. So this is a sunscreen that was made with the help of Cassandra Bankson, and she's a really popular skincare lifestyle YouTuber. And so she partnered with Isntree to make this Purple Protector sunscreen. Its focus is with that onion extract. And so I bought it pretty much sight unseen. I watched the video that Cassandra put up of her going to Korea and helping to formulate and create this product, and talked about the whole process, but I must not have been paying close enough attention. I went back and re-listened to it, and I was like, oh, she does say it. But this is a chemical sunscreen, but it uses the filters that are popular here in the US. So you have homosalate and octocrylene as the two main SPF ingredients. It also has a couple others that are used as supporting ingredients or stabilizing ingredients, sunscreen ingredients for those. So it's kind of a 1-2 punch. You can sometimes see those ingredients pop up in Korean sold sunscreens, but the majority of the time, this is a US focused sunscreen. So I'm not sure if the intention is for it to be sold mainly in the US or if they're trying to get into certain stores like a Target or CVS or something like that. But I was kind of surprised because I've seen Cassandra mention on some of her videos that the sunscreen filters in the US are lacking and we need to innovate. And then yet we have this sunscreen that uses those filters. So I thought that was a little strange. It does have, I think there's probably a little bit in here. Yes. It does have that purple tint to it. It reminds me of when I was a kid, there was a purple sunscreen, like a color changing sunscreen. So it goes on with kind of a lavender hue. And then it does absorb clear and apply clear. So you don't have to worry about it giving you like any sort of cast or anything like that. They mentioned something about that purple offering some sort of color correction. And because it dries clear, I don't see how that would work, but whatever. It smells like that kid's sunscreen that I use, that color changing sunscreen. It reminds me of that like late 90s sunscreen that we used to use that was like bright purple, and you'd smear it on so you could see where you were putting it on, and then it would absorb clear. But it just smells like, you know, your copper tone banana boat kind of kids sunscreen. It has a little bit of a greasiness to it. It doesn't absorb as like silky or as like a nice dewy finish. It is a little shiny, and it feels rather heavy on the skin. Not as heavy as like, once again, like a banana boat or a copper tone or something like that, but it does have a little bit of weight. You can feel it when it's on your skin, especially if you apply multiple layers, you can really feel it. But the onion is supposed to be reparative, soothing. Maybe. I didn't see like any like drastic improvement in regards to that, but I typically don't look for my sunscreens to provide a lot of those benefits. What I can say is it's like an onion. It stings the crap out of your eyes, which is expected from a sunscreen that's using these filters. I've used a bunch of sunscreens using US common filters. Even some of the more modern filters that are used elsewhere in the world can sting my eyes. Sometimes it's not even a sting, it's more of like an ache, like a dull pain if I get it too close to my eyes. So I know to put on a sunscreen stick around my eyes to provide kind of a barrier for the lotion to not migrate into my eyes, but this stuff loved to migrate to my eyes. Even if I put the sunscreen stick, if I put a couple layers of this purple protector on, I could feel it start to sting my eyes throughout the day. So it was just an uncomfortable product. It's not the maximum protection you can find. It's a little old school in its filters. I didn't find the other ingredients in here, including the onion, to be that beneficial. It just seems, I just don't get it. I just don't get why this was produced other than to maybe try to get Isentree's sunscreens into US retailers. I just don't see why someone would purchase this on like a Yes Style or a Style Korean as opposed to other chemical sunscreens that are a lot more elegant, a lot more comfortable, and might have some more benefits. This just, I'm curious. I'd love to hear Cassandra talk a little bit about, and let's, you know, responding to any feedback about this sunscreen, because I haven't seen a lot of positive feedback on this. It just seems kind of odd. It's an odd release. So there's that. All right. So, and I love Cassandra. I watch a lot of her videos. I just don't get that one. I don't get that product. All right, so let's talk about Urban Calm. So Urban Calm is a brand that's under Facetory. It's kind of a line of products under Facetory. They originally started as doing subscription boxes for Korean beauty, curating a lot of stuff from Korea that you wouldn't see in the US. But as things have gotten more common and more commonplace, they started releasing a couple of years ago their own in-house products. So you can see Facetory brand serums, moisturizers, cleansers, a lot of sheet masks. They're kind of known for their sheet masks. And so when I started back into skincare earlier in the year, I was researching them and I stumbled upon this Urban Calm line, which is kind of their higher end brand. And it focuses on fermented ingredients. So I love a fermented ingredient, so I was really curious to try this line. It is a little bit pricey, I will say, straight from their site. Each product averages about $40 per product, but you can often find it available on Amazon through the Facetory retailer for anywhere from $25 to half off. So I got the majority of these products for half off, about $20 a product, which is a little bit more reasonable. So something to keep in mind, but we're gonna go ahead and start off with the first product that I tried, and it is, and keep in mind, something leaked on this box. I traveled with this a few times and it got a little messy, so you can see it's a little damaged. But this is the Urban Calm Gel Cleanser. It features fermented pear and LHA. I think I mentioned this in a previous video, and I still have a decent amount left. This one I used for about a month and did my review, and then I wanted to hold on to the rest. But it has this really cool kind of like toxic slime green color to it. I really like it. It almost kind of glows. It's really cool. So this product, a lot of these have some long ingredients lists, but pH balanced lightweight gel cleanser that has bamboo sap extract. It has, like I said, that fermented pear. It's got capryl salicylic acid, so the LHA, a more gentle form from salicylic acid, and a whole bunch of different fruit extracts, like you name it, grape, pumpkin, it's in here. It's got ginkgo biloba, it's got Artemisia extract in it. It's got rice extract, black currant. It's got a bunch of really cool stuff. And then, like I said, that willow bark, a little bit of capryl salicylic acid in it, madecassoside. It's just packed with a lot of antioxidants, some soothing ingredients, and then that fermented pear and LHA. So it comes in a pump, and it's in this really hefty glass bottle. I love these glass bottles. They just bring a sense of elegance. It's a little bit more high end. But it foams up with a mild lather. It's not super creamy and dense, but it is enough. I did find that the pump only gives a little bit of product, so I have to use quite a bit to get a good rich lather going. But it works really, really well. It rinses cleanly. It leaves my skin feeling soft and hydrated, not stripped. And it has this kind of, it's a mild soapy scent, but you can tell there's like a little bit of like a berry or something in there too. It's just very refreshing. And I found that it just rinsed really nicely and it left my skin feeling super soft. So for a cleanser, it's great. I really like it. I love the bottle. I love the color. It was just fun to use. So even though I stopped using it, for the purposes of just moving on to a new cleanser after a month, I am going to hold on to this and come back to it once I'm done with my current cleanser. So this will make its way back into rotation and I'll use it up until it's gone. So very happy with it. Absolutely would consider coming back and repurchasing that. I probably wouldn't pay the full like 40 or whatever they're asking on the Facetory site, but I would snag it on sale like I did. So really like it, and you get 120 milliliters. Next up is the product that I did finish all the way, and this is probably my favorite product from the whole line, and it's their essence. This is the soft essence featuring fermented seaweed and 5% panthenol. So you can see it comes in this bottle. It's a pump bottle. It's completely empty. I used every last drop of this. I loved this. This is probably one of my favorite products of the year, I must say. So this is a hydrating and softening essence that preps the skin, provides a protective layer of hydration, fermented seaweed, fermented cica, so you got that fermented madecassoside, and 5% panthenol, smooth, nourish, balance the skin. So I also found it very calming. So this essence also has, like I said, that fermented cica in it. It's two forms of fermented cica in it. It's got sodium hyaluronate, regular centella asiatic acid, centella asiatic extract, apple fruit extract. It's got some willow bark in here as well, evening primrose flower. It's got some ceramides, a little bit of cholesterol, polyglutamic acid, which I love for hydration, madecassoside, asiatic acid. It's got a whole bunch of cica in it. I found this to be super calming, very hydrating, and in fact, a little bit brightening and illuminating as well. It was kind of like a soft green color, and it had this like sweet nectar scent. It was just so refreshing to put on the skin. It doesn't have any added fragrance or essential oils. It's just all of those botanical ingredients, those natural extracts, all of the centella. It just gave it this like mild honey kind of scent, and it's just an experience to utilize this product. So I've already replaced it. It's on its way. One of my favorite essences alongside my other favorite, which is the Giving Essence from Then I Met You, that also has polyglutamic acid. So I think that's the reason why I really like both of these. So very happy with that. Next up, we have their serum, and it's the Vita Serum from Urban Calm, featuring fermented mung bean and 10% niacinamide. This product, a water light serum that evens skin tone with the niacinamide, calms with the niacinamide, with a brightening formulation of antioxidant-rich fermented complex and aloe vera that work together to calm the skin, minimize hyperpigmentation, and smooth texture. So like I said, you've got niacinamide, panthenol, aloe leaf juice in here. You've also got lactobacillus ferment. You have a couple different extracts in here as well. It's a super, super de-duper lightweight watery serum. And it's got that fermented mung bean, that niacinamide, and it's just water-like. And so for me, I like a niacinamide packed essence. I like a fermented ingredient based essence, a lightweight watery essence that I can layer. And so this serum feels like they put a brightening essence in a 30 milliliter bottle and are charging a lot for it, is kind of what it feels like. It's a nice, mildly illuminating, hydrating, layerable serum, but it seems like it should be either a toner step or an essence step. I just feel a little bit like they put an essence in a 30 milliliter bottle, like I said. So it does have some impact, but it's more mild and something that might build up over time. It's not as purpose-driven or as impactful as like a really intensely activated serum. Even with that 10% niacinamide and that fermented mung bean, I did see some mild brightening, but not nearly as much as I've seen from other niacinamide products. So I don't know. I don't know if it's the formulation is just not quite as robust as it maybe could be. But to me, it just feels like, oh, this is a nice brightening, hydrating essence if I didn't know that it was packaged like this. So it just doesn't spark a lot of interest for me. It hasn't been as beneficial as I would hope from a serum. And so it's just kind of like, I work it into my morning and evening routine, just about half a pipette, but now I think I might just use it a little bit more heavy-handedly to finish it up, because I feel like I should just be packing it on like an essence or a toner, but you only get the 30 milliliters. So not as impressed. I think if it was in 150 milliliter package and it was marketed as like a brightening toner or something like that, or a secondary essence in the line, I'd be more sold. But the fact that they have it marketed and packaged like this feels a little suspect. So that's the serum. The final product from the Urban Calm line is the Barrier Cream. Barrier Cream, fermented honey brush plus hyaluronic acid, a nourishing cream that relieves sensitive and dehydrated skin with a soothing formulation of fermented honey brush, hyaluronic acid, and heartleaf extract. I love heartleaf. This cream calms dryness, minimizes dullness, and reduces blemishes and inflammation. So once again, miles-long ingredients list here. It's got that heartleaf extract pretty high on the ingredients list, niacinamide in here. You've got some, looks like potentially some shea butter, some hemp seed oil, tea tree extract. So here's the thing. I only use this for a few days. Here's the cream. It's kind of mildly bouncy. Seems like it would be pretty nicely rich and hydrating, especially for dry, sensitized skin that needs a little boost. From what I remember from the few times I used it, absorbed nicely. Oh, but the fragrance of this product is probably one of the most intensely like piney, brushy, prairie, like really intense, like dry brush, pine, foresty, just really intense musky scents that I've ever experienced from a skincare product. It smells like a men's like super woodsy cologne. It does slightly dissipate, but not really. I put this on, I started using it in the evening and I could smell it throughout the night. Oh, and it just smells like irritated skin to me. Like these are the ingredients that will trigger my skin. And I started using this right around the same time I started having that reaction to overexfoliation. And this seemed to really inflame things and set stuff off when I used it. So I discontinued use pretty quickly. It doesn't have essential oils in it, but it is packed with rosemary leaf extract. It's got, I think, some pine extracts in here, turmeric, which is fine. And it might just be that really high amount of that honey brush, but it just gives this, and it could just be my triggers from a sensorial aspect as opposed to actually like negatively impacting my skin or enhancing the irritation. It just seemed to set off my skin, but it just smells like stuff that would just annihilate my skin from an irritation standpoint, like those essential oils like clary and sage and rosemary and all of that stuff. And it just is hard for me to mentally get past it. This product did absorb rather well, but it is a little heavy, and not heavy in like the way that the Sunjung was, where it is heavy, but it feels like it's sealing. This felt heavy, kind of greasy heavy a little bit. It absorbs, but like I said, there's still something there. And every time you just smell that, I guess it might be the honey brush, I'm not sure, but it is strong and it is unrelenting. And so I just couldn't mentally get over using this and feeling confident that I was treating my skin right with it. It might be a great product, and if you're not adverse to those scents or those ingredients that can trigger your skin like that, then you might get along with it just fine. But the fact that all the other products were rather mild, had these soft, mild honey scents, the cleanser, and then to get this really just like intense fragrance from this, it just completely threw me off. And I was like, ugh, it's not refreshing. It's just, the sensorial aspect of this cream is just not for me. Even having it on my hands, I'm like, oh, I gotta wash my hands because if I touch my face, I'm gonna break out. Like, that's the vibe it gives me. I don't know if that's valid, but it is in my head. So I didn't really use this product. I used it just a couple times. I'm gonna give it away to a friend or family member, but I'm not a fan. I just can't use it. So as far as rating those products, by far the Essence was my favorite, then the cleanser, then the serum, and then of course the moisturizer I couldn't really use. So I would absolutely say give the Essence a try. It is probably one of the better essences I've used just overall. Definitely worth investigating. And even at that price point of around $40, I think that's reasonable for the Essence and all those impactful fermented ingredients that are included in it. The cleanser, that's a little bit of a stretch to pay that much for a cleanser, but if you can find it on sale, it's worth it. The other two, I personally would pass on. So that's that. That's all of my empties for October-ish, plus the Facetory Urban Calm full brand line. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, if you've used any of these products, if you have some favorites. Otherwise, don't forget to like, subscribe, share this content with friends, family members, anyone that you think might take some value out of it, and we'll see you next time. Stay glowing. Bye!